How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and we have the next and last of our Understanding How to Build series, where we go over each of the set 1 leaders to kind of help you understand how to build them to best suit you and what options are available to you for each of those leaders. Now we are on the last one, being Jyn Erso, the last of the leaders, because we went in order of the cards, like the card order in the set, and yeah, we're coming to an end of it. So if you are looking for a list, unfortunately you won't find one here, even if you are looking for like some kind of spicy list for Jyn. Unfortunately you won't find one. We're just going to help you understand how to build it, so when you come to build any of these leads, you can kind of understand which is the best place that'll suit you and what options you have available for each one and how to build it the best to you with the tools available. So hopefully if that's interested you and you're looking to learn and help understand how to build a deck, then feel free to watch. If not, then unfortunately that's where it ends there. But before we get into the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It helps you keep updated with my videos as and when they drop. And also by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts when my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then, or at a later time that suits you best. So, if you are interested, join us as we go and understand how to build Jyn Erso. So, starting off with the lead, as we always do. So this is Jyn Erso on basically on her side when she's in the leader area and when she deploys. Now she's quite an interesting one. She got a beneficial trait, unlike like I saw with Han, she's actually got the rebel trait, so she gets all benefits from like the rebel trait, which is a mainstay and a main one of the main traits in the heroic side of it, because she is also in the aspects of Cunning and Heroism. So that's the two she brings to the table out of the 3 that you get with your leader combination, or leader base combination. So she gets a nice little benefit from a trait there. And she's all about like taking less damage when you kind of fight. So when you're attacking something, you take less damage from her effects. And she also deploys not too early, but not too late at 6 resources. So like as early as turn 5, unless you ramp maybe a little earlier. She comes down and she comes in with solid stats, the same as Boba, being 4 power and 7 health. Just comes down a little bit of her turn later. And her effects in the leader area is tap herself, then it allows you straight away to attack with a unit. And then if you're attacking into a unit, the defender gets -1 power for that attack. So that means you can trade with cards normally where you would normally exchange and both die, and you can come out on top. So it's a nicer way to kind of like try and trade off, control the board, but also not losing your unit when they would normally die together. Now you can only do that like once a turn, because you can only tap her once unless there's a way to restand her, which currently there isn't in set 1. But then when she's deployed, she now has the just a blanket effect of just while a friendly unit is attacking, the defender gets -1 power. So it means now you don't have to tap her, do it. Just not anything that attacks, not needing to use her effect to do it. Just you take 1 less damage when you're attacking something. So it's really handy, and you can go with a nice ambush route. It's how I got a deck profile, which you've hopefully seen on the channel from last week. We got the basic profile trying to make use of her ambush with this effect, so you can ambush, take a little bit less damage, but also trying to control the board and go that route. But she does feel like a nice one. Like I didn't really think much of her. Like a fair few leads on this from set 1. I didn't think too much of when I was looking at her effects and just thinking about like what could be beneficial. I didn't see how it could be beneficial. And then upon trying it or seeing the list, I found like I just inspired to kind of try out the lead. And for Jyn, I found inspiration after taking it to my second pre-release and ended up winning using it because it was just helpful trying to trade on board. So that's the leader, and now we've got the different aspect combinations. Just like Han, she is in the heroic and cunning, so that's what she brings to the table for the leader. And if you combine a base with her, you can access to either vigilance, command, aggression, or double cunning. So these are the 4 different combinations you can get to. And before we get into it, we're going to go over the aspect cunning, because I keep sometimes forgetting to do this until later on in the video. But the benefits of having working out what you want for your combination between leader and base is because there's an aspect penalty. And what that basically means is that if you were to play a card which has an aspect that doesn't match what's on your leader or base, you have to pay an extra 2 resources on top of its actual cost. So say if you were going for Vigilance with Jyn, you'd have access to the trait, to the aspects Heroism, Cunning, and Vigilance. So now if you wanted to play a command card, doesn't match what's on your leader or base, you have to pay an extra 2 on top, and if the card was a 3 cost, it's now a 5 cost. So there is that. And then if you wanted to play a command villainy card, because neither of those traits, you have 2 traits that don't match, you have to pay an extra 2 per copy, per aspect that doesn't match. So that's an extra 4 on top, so you're then turning a set 3 cost that would normally be free if you played the correct aspects, to now being a 7 cost just to play a 3 cost. So do watch out, and do think about what kind of aspects you want to play, and look at the card pool to see what the benefits are. So before we do get into the aspect combinations and what they kind of provide for Jyn in each combination, we're going to go ratios because it's important to understand how many copies of any card you want to put in. Because you can put a maximum of 3 copies, which is very nice considering there's other games that have 4 copies, so it makes it easier for trying to get like a play set of cards. You have to get 3 instead of 4, and also just basically be able to like collect as well, which is quite nice. So the ratios you can have a 3 copies of card, 2 copies, or 1 copy. And typically, if you want 3 copies of card, that's a card you normally want to have basically just see often and be able to use. And it's normally powerful cards you just want to see to play. So normally, like Millennium Falcon here, being a very good one for a good cost, very good stats, and very good effects. You want 3 copies of that because you want to see it as often as possible to play out. That makes sense for free. Cards you want cards 3 copies of. And then sometimes you want to have cards you have 2 copies of. So you want to have them less than 1 of a playset. But these are normally for cards, like usually you have them, example being like high costing card, but there's not too many in the heroic side. So we've got Bamboozle here being a good example as well. Because normally 2 copies of card are cards you don't want to really see early. Or you don't want to see too many early, because otherwise you can clog up your hand. And if you're drawing too many and having to charge them early, you're then not gonna have many copies later for the end game when you actually want to see them. So that's probably like if you might draw a couple of 8 drops, so the same card in 8 drop, and you can't play it at turn 1. And rather than holding on to it and make it so your options are very limited for the beginning of the game and give you a lot of trouble trying to like get your foot in the game, you have to resource them, and then if they're resourced, you can't have access to them later in the game because they're resourced. So you sometimes want to have some cards at 2 copies, so you don't see them early or too many early, so that way you can have them for the later game to draw into them and use them when you need to. And then we have 1 copies of a card. We got Change of Heart as a good example, being cards that normally are cards that are good in a specific situation, but that situation isn't always going to come up. So you normally want a 1 copy in the main deck, so you have it ready for the first game out of 3, and also so you can have it potentially draw into them when the need arises. Now, the fun thing about 1 copy of a card is if you don't see it, you don't really care. So if you don't see it, if it could be useful, you don't see it, it's not too bad. But if you do see it and it's useful, it's great. So you either don't see it, or if you do see it, you've got the options of either if it's not useful to resource it, or if it is useful, there you have it, you have the card. So hopefully that explains like why you would want cards at 3 copies, 2 copies, and 1 copy, and what the benefits are of those. So now you've got all sorted and got like some of the main information you kind of need before going in and have a look at how to build a deck. We're going to see a look at what each aspect combination provides. And starting off, we'll go double cunning, because we'll just go to double aspect, because the benefit of this is you get access to, currently in set 1, 3 very, really powerful cards in double aspect, because each aspect has 3 double aspect cards, and always one of them is an event named after the aspect. That gives you 2 of 4 options. But the only problem with double aspect currently in set 1 is that you lose access to a whole other aspect, which is a lot of cards, and then exchange that huge other aspect card pool for just free cards. Because remember, you need the aspects, the match on the card, otherwise you're paying a penalty, and if you only had 1 cunning, you still have to pay an extra 2 because you don't have a second cunning symbol. So having 1 cunning symbol doesn't cover just all cunning symbols, it just covers 1, so be wary of that. And for cunning, you get bases for each different aspect, and for you get 2 skillless bases. So this one, and are normally 30 HP, and you get 1 rare base, and the rare base has 25 health, so less health than the skillless ones, but gives you an epic action to basically make up for the lack of health. And Jealousy is not the best one because this epic action allows you to give a non-leader unit -4 for the phase, which can be useful, but then you're just making something that's not a leader weaker, so you can either take it out easier, or so it can't do too much damage to you in that turn. So sometimes it can be great, sometimes it might not be. It all comes dependent, but it's probably one of the worst ones of the rare bases among the aspects currently. Not only that, but you get access to these 3 double aspect cards that are very powerful, and Cunning has the better ones where all 3 of them are actually really, really good. So you got Bodhi Brook being a very good costing, like 3 cost for free, with a nice on play allowing you to look at your opponent's hand to get that hand knowledge and make your opponent discard a non-leader unit from it. So, a non-unit card from it, being either an event or an upgrade, which can be very handy, especially if you go against like a command decks which are trying to ramp. If you get this down before they can ramp with that resupply, you can potentially knock out their hand and kind of ruin what they were trying to do. You got Cantina Bouncer as well, which is a very nice one. Not the best stats, at 5 cost being 3/5, but has a really nice effect where when played, you can return any non-leader unit back to his owner's hand, be it yours or your opponent's. So either after your opponent's played a side count, reset it back to the hand, so they've basically just wasted a turn trying to play a card, or bounce one of your cards so you can get back, basically reuse their on-played effect or when played. So like Bodhi, for example. And then you've got Cunning. So this is the event for Cunning. So each aspect has one named after itself, and it's a 4 cost. It offers you 2 or 4 effects. And Cunning is a really nice one because all its effects are very, very good and always useful. So you can either bounce back a non-leader unit with 4 or less power to his owner's hand. It could be yours or your opponent's. Very handy. You can give a 4 power boost to one of your units this phase, or one of your opponent's units, any unit. You don't want to give it to your opponent really though. But you can give it to one of yours to make one of yours things stronger. You can go to a leader. You can exhaust up to 2 units, so you can kind of control the board by tapping 2 things down. And the other one is make your opponent discard a random card from their hand. So that could be great to potentially bounce back a card back to the hand, say a non-leader unit, and make them discard a random card, hoping to hit that card, make them discard it. So that adds for a nice bit of control, bit of hand control, board control, which is really cool. And these are very nice cards. It could go pretty well for Jyn. Just the only problem is you limit your card pool, and the card pool is already quite small, and yeah, you want to go for a more wider form because really there's only one leader in each aspect that kind of benefits the most or benefits greatly from double aspect, and Jyn probably is not the best one to benefit, but she does benefit better from double cunning than most leaders do for their own double aspect as well. So that's the double cunning one. Now we move on to Vigilance. And the rare base you get for this is Security Complex, and its epic action allows you to give a shield to one of your non-leader units that can have protection, but not. So it can give you some protection, which means that Jyn's effect is kind of useless with it because it's already protected by a shield. So not the greatest kind of connection. But you do get access to some nice cards, like you get Restored Arc, being a nice little space unit. 2 costs come down as early as turn 1. It gives you Restore 1, meaning that every time it attacks, it heals 1 damage to your base. Yoda kind of does the same thing as well. Having just costs a little bit more, a little bit in better stats, but has Restore 2, so it heals 2 damage from your base when it attacks, but also has a win defeated, and then you choose any number of players and make them draw a card. Remember, you are a player, so you can choose yourself. You don't have to choose your opponent, you can just choose yourself and draw a card, meaning it basically gets you a draw when he dies. Quite cool. You do have some Spectre support as well in Cannon Jars and the Ghost, a nice little combo you can have there, allowing you to get some decent units like Kaden. They're both really good started as well, and Kaden allows you to get a bit of meal, but also get some healing from that meal as well. And then the Ghosts allow you to give protection to your Spectres, because that's pretty good Spectres among Vigilance and Command. No, sorry, not Command. Cunning, that's the one. And Ghost allows you to basically comes in shielded, comes in protected, and allow you to protect other Spectre units by giving a shield whenever it's played or attacks. And then you also get access to Luke Skywalker, being a very good high costing unit, allows you to give a bit more restore in Restore 3, and also allows you to kind of get some removal too, because when it's played, you can give a unit -3/3 to its stats, which if it puts low damage range, it can die. And if something of yours was defeated this same turn, you can give it -6/6 instead, so you get a benefit if you've lost something that same turn. Now, in the non-heroic side of blue, Vigilance, you got some pretty nice ones as well. That you got Regional Governor, be a nice little control one. But when you play it, you can name a card, and your opponent can't use that card for while Regional Governor's on the board. So if you can name something that you don't want your opponent to play, then until they get ready Regional Governor, they can't play that card. So if you protect it, you can potentially keep a card out your opponent's board for the long haul. You've also got Rugged Survivor, which benefits really nicely the longer Jyn's on board. Not the best stats of 3/5 for a 5 cost, but it has grit, so the more damage it takes, the more for each damage it takes, it adds to its power. So if you take 2 damage, it adds 2 to its power. And then when it attacks, if you control a leader unit, you control a card, give you more options and more more things to do, which is quite nice. Then you have some quite interesting space units, like a System Patrol Graph, just giving you a Sentinel for the space arena, so you can kind of survive a little bit if your opponent's going at you from space. And you get some nice cards like Electro Staff, being a nice one you can put on Jyn, upper stats, giving an extra 2/2 to her stats, and also making it so she takes 1 less damage when she's attacked. So not only will she take 1 less damage when she's attacking, but also take 1 less damage when she's attacked, which could be handy. And then you also got some nice instant removal events and Takedown in Vigilance as well. You got both Takedown and Vigilance, Vanquish, which be nice ones that automatically take things out. Because you can just trade at board and not really worry because you'll come out on top from the trade. It's not as useful, but it could be helpful to see out some things that you kind of don't want to attack into. Then we also got Command, and this could be a very nice one because it adds a nice bit of Ambush as well. So Ambush kind of pairs pretty well with Jyn, where you can basically just bring something with Ambush, which can then allow it to attack straight away rather than just staying rested. and attack another unit straight away, and then basically come out on the trade on top because you get the -1 damage back from Jyn. And you've got energy conversion now, which can give anything 6 or less ambush once. So you can play a unit that costs 6 or less and give it ambush. Remember, you have to pay the cost. So you're not paying it for free. You will have to pay the cost for the card, but you get the benefit of giving ambush. Remember, ambush is a skill which allows you to, normally when you play cards, they come in rested. But if you play them with ambush, they can ready and attack another unit the same straight away. So you get to straight away come down and trade. And considering that Jyn's effect she's deployed allows you to take 1 less damage when you're attacking, means if normally you would trade and basically both KO each other, you can come out on top. That's one of the benefits of Jyn that I found. And more ambush things, the better I think she becomes. Then you get some really nice units. You have some nice cheap units on the rebel side of, the good side of command as well. Like Battlefield Marine being a very good unit for good stats for its cost. Echo Base Defender being the same thing, but also having Sentinels that protects your ground arena stuff and base. You got Wedge as well, so you can make use of some of the cool rebel stuff. Oh well, not rebel, but vehicles, because it gives all vehicles an extra +1 to the stats, so 1/1, and also gives them ambush. So if they didn't have it before, they have it now. And Rogue Squadron being a very nice one because it also has already as ambush, 4/6 pretty nice stats, and when played, allows you to grab back a unit that costs 2 or less for you to discard part of your hands to get back a nice Battlefield Marine, ready to slap it back down. You also have Rebel Assault, so remember, because Jyn's a Rebel, she's also got access to like some Rebel support, so you've got Rebel Assault being a good one, being a just 1 cost event that allows you to attack with a Rebel unit and give it +1 for that attack, which could be your lead or something else. And then straight after, attack with another Rebel unit and give that one also +1 for attack. So kind of get some aggro in, kind of get some attacks, basically before your opponent can even do 1, get 2 attacks off. Now on the non-heroic side of it, you got some pretty nice ones in like Frontline Shuttle. This one's a nice one that doesn't really see much play, but I found it's just amazing because of the effect. It's quite cheap in the 2 cost, but as an action where you can defeat itself and then attack with a unit, even if it's exhausted, so one of the rare cards that allow you to attack with exhausted cards, and then it can't attack bases for that attack, but you can attack into another unit. So if you want to just help clear off things on board that's already attacked and haven't taken much damage, you can just help control board. One of the best things Jyn can do. You got Escort Skiff, which is quite nice, pretty good stats for its cost. And while you control another command unit on board, it could be another one in space, one in ground arena. As long as you control another command unit, it gains ambush. It can come in and attack straight away. You've got Ancient Canis as well, also being another one with ambush, being a little bit more costly at 5, but has the same stats as Escort Skiff and ambush, but also has another unique effect where if you attack a unique unit, if another unique unit is defeated, either yours or your opponent's, then you can draw a card. So that's quite nice in that aspect. And then you've got Steadfast Battalion, always going to be covered with when it comes to command because it's very good with Energy Conversion Lab because while you got your leader out, it can come down and when attacking, what if you control your leader, give a friendly unit 2/2, so you can have it yourself or one of your other units. And it's a nice way to take out some leaders before they even get going, which is very, very cool. You also have Overwhelm on it as well, so any excess damage it does to a unit goes over onto your opponent's base. And you have Resupply as one of the only 3 ramp cards you have access to that doesn't incur a penalty aspect. So, yeah, command is a very good one running with Jyn because you've got a fair few bits of ambush. You can even have ambush on anything like the Energy Conversion Lab, so you can control the board better and even make use of resupply, like ramp up. Then we have Aggression. So this could be very useful for Jyn as well because it's got a very aggressive good side of it because you've got a lot of good heroic units that are quite cheap to play, so you can spam out damage, control the ball a lot easier because they hit quite hard. They just don't hit hard back. If they're hit, they don't hit as hard back. When they're attacking themselves, they hit very hard. So you got some nice ones there. We'll go over in a sec. But first, Target Town is your rare base, and its epic action is just allowing you to deal 3 damage to a damaged non-leader unit. So you can't just deal 3 damage outright. That's something you can't do. But if you try to take something out and you don't quite finish it off, you can finish it off with Target Town, which is quite cool. Then you've got some really nice units, like space units in Green Squadron A-Wing and Red 3, being very nice ones that come in quite cheap, hit hard, and even Red 3, like giving all your other friendly heroic units an extra Raid 1. Well, Raid 1, so they hit for 1 more damage when they attack. You got some nice ground units like Sabine and K2SO, very nice units come down, basically just put out some damage, like Sabine could do on attack, 1 damage to base or defender, and while you got 3 other aspects among your other cards, she can't be attacked. And K2SO being a very hard one to kind of removed because when it does overwhelm, so any excess damage onto a unit when it attacks goes over into your opponent's base. And then if K2 is defeated, then you can either deal 3 damage to your opponent's base or make him discard a card. So very useful in that. And then you got a Gorilla Attack Pod, great one for the late game, where if any base has taken 15 or less damage on it, then you can ready it, so you can bring it in ready to attack. Has grit, so any damage it takes converts to power as well. So it still has the damage on, but it basically powers it up more, and it could be a nice one to kind of finish off games. Not only that, but you have the good side, or you have the non-heroic side of aggression as well, giving you some really nice cheap units and some more power, like more aggression, like more damage output to it. Being like Benthic 2 Tubes, be a nice one where it can on attack give a never aggression unit raid 2 for that phase. Impetus Insurgent, which while you control a never aggression unit, gains raid 2 itself. You got Wolf that can basically come down, or even when it attacks, stop bases from meaning, so your opponent can't kill the base off where you just keep slamming into it. Disabling Fang Fighter to help get rid of pesky upgrades, and even then keep fighting, allowing you to ready any unit with 3 or less power, so you can be as aggressive as possible. So this can add quite well because you can just keep powering hard, attacking it, and where you control on board, you're just attacking hard. And with Jyn's effect, you can take less damage back, meaning units can even survive a little bit longer as well. Don't forget, Jyn is also in the heroic side, so she has some cards that are just heroic, like Wing Leader, Flute Lieutenant, General Dodonna, and Snowspeeder. Being very nice ones to kind of power your stuff up, give some benefits to your rebels, and make them a little bit stronger. Especially with Wing Leader and Fleet Lieutenant, adding basically more power to cards for when they attack. Like Wing Leader does permanently, Fleet Lieutenant just for that attack. Donna allowing you to give all rebels an extra +1 to their stats, making them all stronger except herself. And then Snowspeeder being everyone with ambush, but also gets to exhaust enemy vehicle units on the ground as well, and pretty decent stats. And you might be thinking, what does Jyn's aspects offer yourself? Because we haven't gone over that, we've just gone over double Cunning, but on just Cunning Heroic, we've got some really nice ones in Rogue Operative. A nice unit that's quite cheap with some nice stats, 2-4, but when it attacks, it gains raid 2, so it hits for 4 when it attacks, but only does 2 when it's attacked. And as Saboteur as well, so it can ignore a Sentinel and just go straight to the base. Got Ezra being a very good unit for Cunning and Heroic, because it's got 3 fortal stats for a free cost, same as Millennium Falcon here, but it's only a rare, and also just when the unit completes an attack, so it needs to attack and survive, you can look at the top card of your deck, and you can either play it, discard it, or leave it on top of your deck. So if you've got the resources, you can play it. If you don't want it, you can just discard it, or you can just leave it on top of your deck if you want to draw into it. Millennium Falcon is another one that could just get damage straight away, going straight in, and make use of Jyn to just straight away just go attack into something and take 1 less damage back, and then can always bounce it back to your hand instead of paying the 1 for its tax, like ours is one of its effects on it. You also got Allstuck's Liberator's Gunship being a never ambush space unit as well, so you can come in, control the space arena, just drop it down and take less damage back with Jyn's effect, but also coming in and attacking straight away to control the board. And you got Han Solo, another one with ambush, slightly bigger stats because it's higher cost at 7 with 6/6, but he's got a nice effect which kind of doesn't need Jyn to help him out by making it so you do damage first when you do combat. So while attacking, the unit deals damage, combat damage before the defender. So then if you take out the unit with the damage you do from Han Solo, it doesn't do any damage back. And in the non-light side of it, you also got some pretty nice units as well, in Pirate Starfighter, allowing you to get some more pressure and raid 1 on it, but also allowing you to put back a unit back to your hand. So if you do trade a unit into your opponent, and then using Jyn's effect, you're allowed to survive it because you take 1 less damage. You can use Pirate Starfighter to come down, play a nice, pretty decent for its cost space unit, also bouncing back that every unit that's damaged back to your hand so it's then be played and nice and refreshed. You got Strafing Gunship as well, allowing you to break the rules of the game by attacking across arenas, because normally you can only attack ground into ground and space into space, but Strafing Gunship has an effect that allows it to attack in the ground arena. And if it does, it takes 2 less damage back when it attacks ground arena. So with Jyn, you're taking 3 less damage when you attack ground arena and can kind of hold off take out the ground while staying in space. You also have some nice things like Morian Guards, which are pretty solid for its stats, and gain Sentinel if you control another command unit, and also Syndicate Lackeys, giving you more ambush as well, a bit higher costing but very nice. And then Snapshot Reflexes, allowing you to basically just upgrade a unit, give it an extra 1 with 2 stats, and then attack straight away with that unit as well. So even boosting Jyn, so she survives a bit longer, because the longer she's on the board deployed, the more you can just get benefits of not taking much damages back as you would if she was in the leader area. So hopefully that's explained all the different options you got for Jyn. Really, like there's not too much. Like double cunning is a good way to go for it, but you limit yourself with a very limited card pool, so you're very limited in what you've got. But Vigilance doesn't offer the best fruits. It offers a bit of healing, but it doesn't offer like the best in terms of units. So like you can get some healing for it, but it's a nice way to go. But just you don't get as many good options as the other ones. And then Command offers a really nice one where you've got the a fair few Rebel cards that kind of make use of Rebel Assault, and also a bit of ramp so you can play out more things quicker and play like bigger things out quicker as well. But the best one is probably going to probably one of the best ones is probably aggression, because you get a lot of aggressive units. They basically be very aggressive, but like come down and attack as hard as hit as hard as possible, and then get the most benefit out of Jyn, be able to take less damage back so they survive a bit longer and allow you to overwhelm and control the board. So that is it for this video and this series. So hopefully that's helped you understand how to build Jyn Erso to suit you. I do have a deck profile out of it if you want to look at that. It is out on the channel from last week, so check that out if you're interested in it. It's like a more of an ambush focused build. But that is it for today. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this Understanding How to Build series. And check back as we have more great Star Wars content. Bye for now.